What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Among the Fence, my YouTube channel where I do music reviews. My name is Aaron, and today we're going to be checking out the new self-titled album from the band Beyond the Black. They are a symphonic metal band from Germany. They started around 2014, and this is their 5th studio album. And I gotta admit, I've never really heard this band before, and I'm only doing this review because of a request, and I'm not really a huge fan of symphonic metal. So I'm kind of taking that into account when I criticize this. Some of the things I don't like, it's just because I don't like this style of genre typically, and it's not that there's anything really wrong with it. So I'm going to overlook a lot of that stuff going into this. And I have grown a fondness to female vocalists in metal, so that does have kind of a winning factor to it. And I was pretty excited to get into this band because of that as well. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. The album opens up with the song "Is There Anybody Out There?", which I believe is about the protagonist searching for something exciting or an adventure, or I guess anybody who is kind of in the same predicament of, just living life, I guess. Or it could be pandemic based. I could be completely wrong. It could go either way based off of the lyrics. It starts out with an epic intro and these weird vocals that kind of remind me of like a horn that I had on my bicycle when I was a kid. So that was a little awkward. The verse has a muted riff and some powerful drums, and the vocals really carry the melody. And the chorus adds a little bit more of a musical presence to it and more vocal layering. The solo was all right, but I really enjoyed the little acoustic-y section after the guitar solo. Then we have the song Reincarnation, which is basically about reincarnation and getting a second chance. And I like the guitar passage in the verse and the imagery and the lyrics quite a bit. The chorus gets a little bit more symphonic, I guess you could say, and I really dig the distorted vocals that add a little bit more depth to it, and it isn't overpowering. It's just kind of sprinkled throughout the chorus here and there in a echoey, chanty kind of fashion, and I really enjoyed that. And then we have the song Free Me, which starts off kind of slow in kind of a ballady kind of way. It's about her love basically saving her and setting her free. The chorus does start to become a little too repetitive for me, and the verses get a little bit more rhythmic as the song goes on. It doesn't really come alive though until we get to the bridge, which has a really cool keyboard section to it. Winter's Coming has an epic intro that cuts out going in the verse, but not in like a disappointing kind of way, I guess, because lots of times metal bands will have these really cool intros with a great riff or cool drums, and then it cuts out and it's just like a bare bones kind of minimalistic kind of verse to it. But the transitions in this song are great, as are the build-ups that go throughout the verses. The chorus is really catchy thanks to the melodies from the guitar and the vocals, and the second chorus is twice as long with a guitar solo that separates it before it gets repeated again. Then we have the song Into the Light, which I believe is about trying to do something great and epic and new without being afraid to fail. It has this suspenseful intro to it, and the lyrics to me are the best part in this entire song because the music starts to kind of sound like something we've already heard before. The chorus sounds great too, and they bring back the distorted vocals, which I'm a huge fan of. Wide Awake has a slow classical guitar in the intro and calming vocals in the verse. The chorus is great imagery through the metaphors, and the passion throughout the song is great as well. A chugging guitar comes in verse 2 that adds a lot more dynamic to it, and the second chorus kind of works as a bridge, but I feel like it would have been better if there was a real bridge in this song. And then we have the song Dancing in the Dark, which has tribalish kind of drums in the verse, and there's a lot of determination in the vocals. The chorus has this feeling of resolve, and it's super catchy. And again, I feel like this is another song that would have really benefited from having a bridge to it, just because without the bridge, it starts to become really repetitive sounding. When you just have a chorus and then a guitar solo, and then another chorus, it literally just sounds like you're hearing the same thing twice, especially since for me personally, I don't really get that into the guitar solos, but I did really like that in this song, they keep that guitar solo kind of playing in the background through the last chorus, which did help it out a little bit. Raise Your Head has a big intro with a really cool riff and probably my favorite synth stuff going on. The chorus is pretty sick. I really liked the lyrics and the metaphors, plus the post-chorus instrumental thing is pretty great too. It's over really quick, but it sounds good. And I actually enjoyed the guitar solo in this song. However, the hook, Raise Your Head, does become really repetitive again because the bridge just isn't really too much of a thing. So you just hear the chorus and the guitar solo and another chorus. So it's just, yeah, again, it's just too much of the same thing. Then we have Not in Our Name. And I gotta admit, I'm not a huge fan of the vocal stuff going on in the intro. The distorted vocals finally get their own moment to shine in the pre-chorus, and they're pretty unique. But I enjoy them quite a bit. They're not like any other distorted vocals I've ever heard. And the chorus really encourages you to want to sing along to it. It gets stuck in your head for quite a while after you listen to it. And then we have the closing track, I Remember Dying, which has a very theatrical feel to it, specifically in the vocals and the synth. I can really imagine seeing this song like at the end of a play where everything's dark and then there's just this lady, the main character, standing there. She starts singing this song, especially with like the vocal layering in the chorus. I feel like you could really see her standing there in the middle of the stage, which is the spotlight on her. And then when the chorus comes in and you hear the other voices, then the stage starts to light up and you see everybody else there. And because of that, this just made it for a really solid closer for me. I really felt like it was the end of a show and it was great. Now, the main thing I enjoyed the most about this album would probably be the lyrics. They've got good metaphors to them. They create a lot of good imagery. And because of that, and the last song, when I went through and listened to this again, I tried to look at it as more of a story. And that helped quite a bit as well. Helped me get really into it. I enjoyed it a lot more that way. And the vocals are great too. They never really lose their luster. They never really become dull or boring, which a lot of times with any type of vocal style that's like this, not specifically just female, but even the guys who sing with this kind of soaring, triumphant sort of vocal style, it could become kind of old, but she definitely mixes it up by having more calming moments where not every single song is like the most epic thing that she has to sing about, and that really helps out a lot. The only thing I really have an issue with in this is probably the music, specifically the guitar stuff. Because after a while it starts to sound like you're listening to the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again for 10 songs in a row, because there's no riffs that really stand out. Sure, their guitars are doing something different, but there's not a whole lot of dynamic within the sound. It's all kind of just and it just like it mostly just creates like this foundation for the symphonic stuff and for the lyrics and the vocals and the drums and all that to sit on top of it. It doesn't really have anything that it, like in any shiny moments. It doesn't have anything that really contributes to the song so much, which I get. Again, that's kind of the whole thing with this genre, and that's one of my issues with it. So I try not to take away from it too much, but at the same time, I feel like they could have done a little bit more to make them shine. I mean, there was plenty of times when there was just music and it could have just been a cool riff. Something that's just sick and in your face. I know that they can do it. I know that they're amazing musicians. They can pull it off. And it's just, they just didn't do it. And because of that, kind of hurts this a little bit more for me, and it made it a little bit less enjoyable the more I listened to it in that sense. And the production on this thing, I mean, it's good, but it's not like the best thing. There's nothing in it that really stands out to me production wise. It all sounds good, but it's not like, whoa, like that was really cool. And this, you could hear this a little bit more through each song. The production's basically the same thing. They don't really change it up to where you can hear anything else. They don't really do anything different. It just kind of gets the job done in a way. So because of all that, I gotta give Beyond the Black's self-titled album a 6.8 out of 10. And I know that a lot of people have been giving this album a lot of praise. I haven't really read any reviews, but I kind of skimmed through it after I did my review just to see what people were rating this thing. And there's a lot of like 8s and 9s and stuff. So I don't know, I might get a lot of crap for this lower rating, I guess. It's not a negative rating per se, it's just not really as high as everybody else. But again, I try not to let my bias get the best of me in this, but I'm also really hard on symphonic metal bands just because I know that they could do more, and I feel like they should. So yeah, leave a comment below letting me know what you thought of Beyond the Black's new album. Let me know what you would rate it. Let me know what your favorite song is. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like. If you want to help support me and my channel, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell icon. That way you don't miss out on any of my future stuff, especially if you leave a request like this person did for this album. Hopefully they get a chance to see it. Hopefully they didn't just leave a comment requesting this and then just bounce and they didn't subscribe or ring the bell icon, because there's a good chance they might not see it if they did that, which happens quite a bit, and that just makes me sad. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day or night whenever you happen to be watching this, and I will talk to you guys next time.
I was trying to make it, relying on my parents said to save me.